The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by the SGPN app. Get all of our free picks and podcasts in one convenient app. Download the SGPN app today. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Know me, know the voice of the guys. Me, really feeling Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. All right. There we go. I'm sorry, I'm watching the Atlanta Dream and the Dallas Wings play. Wings won the first half. Half of my dog hit right there. We've got one game to talk about in the NBA. Another series down the toilet as OKC beats the Los Angeles Lakers and sends them to Cancun with Dylan Brooks in attendance. I mean, the NBA is just such a messy league. Oh boy, the storylines. Scott Studio, Reichel. Scott, what's going on?
Scotty, beat me up.
Surprise.
Yeah, you know what? Props to the Lakers. They got swept, but at least they made one game competitive. You lose the first 3 games by 18-plus points. Thunder were up double digits in the second quarter, and you thought, maybe this game's going to end up being a blowout again, but it turned out to be a great fourth quarter. I went back and forth. I ended up seeing SGA kind of take over late. Mitchell's crazy on OKC. I mean, that guy's an absolute monster. Chet, of course, had the big dunk late, but it was really just the story of the Thunder doing enough offensively down the stretch, and I know Smart had the and one, but LeBron did basically nothing in the final 3 minutes. They subbed out Rui for Maxi Kleber. That made me laugh in the final, 12 seconds of the game. But it didn't really matter in the end. I mean, look, the Lakers might have stolen one game in the series, but that was going to be the ceiling for this team. Without Luka, they would have lost to Luka anyway. But this team never stood a chance. Props them for getting out of the first round. And the Thunder, missing arguably their second best player, are 8-0. In the postseason. So nothing really to add besides the Thunder being really, really good at basketball and the Lakers looking incredibly mid, which we knew already.
Yep. Nothing really shocking at all. It's the other series that's currently going on. That's the series that we have our eyes on and we're curious of, oh, wait, how is this going to end? But OKC and the Lakers, we pretty much knew where this was going. So I'm not surprised in that outcome at all. All right. Let's get to the one game that we're here to talk about. But first, got to make sure I remind the people that Preakness is this week. So make sure to go check out the Preakness preview over there at the Sports Gambling Podcast and claim your free $25 Preakness bet plus a $200 deposit match for new members at nyrabets.com/SGPN25. That's nyrabets.com/SGPN25. All right. Wednesday, we have one game because the OKC and the Knicks did what they were supposed to do. So there's only one game left for the rest of these series. Detroit, game 5, knotted up 2 games apiece. The series has not started yet, Scott.
The series didn't start yet in the first round for Cleveland, and yet they're in the second round.
Yep, here we are. Detroit's laying 4.5 at home in game 5. 212.5 is the total. Let me look and make sure nothing snuck up on me on the injury.
Oh, we probably have to recap game 4, right?
Yeah, we could talk about game 4 really quickly. But first, got to make sure injury report. Karis LeVert is officially listed as questionable. Duncan Robinson is officially listed as questionable. And Kevin Huerter has a questionable tag for him for the Detroit Pistons. Nothing for the Cavs. All right. Well, game 5, Donovan Mitchell did Donovan Mitchell things.
I mean, game 4.
I'm sorry, game 4. He did Donovan Mitchell things, including, what was it? Tied for the highest scoring second half.
It was just half. It was just tied for the highest scoring half in NBA playoff history. He could have broken it. He missed a free throw at the end. He had 39 points in the second half.
Like, just imagine in the first half thinking, man, my Donovan Mitchell prop is cooked.
I gave it out on my solo show. I had Mitchell over 27.5. And then, of course, he goes for 39 in the second half. And somebody messages me on Twitter saying I cashed out at halftime. I'm like, well, that sucks. Like, I'm sorry to hear that. That's unfortunate. But yeah, Mitchell got going and him and Harden closed. Detroit, though, look, they made it a 9-point game, which was great for me because I had Cavs 1-10, which I had no business cashing, by the way. But Detroit was getting buried after halftime. They were up and they got outscored, what was it, 23-0 in the third quarter during a stretch. Cade wasn't very good. Tobias had less than 20 points for the first time, basically all postseason. But my main story is still the same with Detroit. Duren looks horrible. Like, Duren looked awful the entire game, and he got benched again, and Paul Reed looks really good. But Duren, even when he subbed back in the fourth quarter, immediate loose ball foul, followed by a turnover, followed by Cade hitting him right in the hands for a free dunk, and he drops and it goes out of bounds. Like, basic stuff. It feels like Duren should really be playing less minutes because either he's in his own head or he is just completely lost. Either way, he's been a complete liability for the entire postseason for Detroit.
Yeah, I don't know how you can trust this guy at this point either. But like, they've won games with him playing this level, and it just tells me like, man, imagine the level that Detroit would be at if Duren's actually playing well. But like, you can't expect it at this point. I'm not counting on it at this point. I'm grateful of Bickerstaff saying, "All right, you're not playing well. We're going to play the guy who is playing well and give him Paul Reed more minutes." So ultimately, it still is for me the fact of what you talked about very early on in the series. So I give all credit to you, Scott. Cleveland's still yet to win a road game in playoffs.
11-0. If you've been blindly taking the home team in Cavalier games, both straight up and ATS, 11-0.
Yeah. And so is there anything, I mean, I didn't see anything spectacular in games 3 or 4 that made me say, oh, yeah, this is going to transfer and they're going to go on the road and have this big game.
The one thing that I think can travel for Cleveland is how badly they're hunting Duncan Robinson. Like we knew that they were going to hunt him, or at least we thought going in, because Duncan Robinson seems to always have this happen to him in the playoffs because he's not a good defender. And we saw OKC do it to Reeves, where if you find any type of guy you can exploit defensively, you are going to beat that matchup to death until somebody corrects you. So I was waiting for eventually, because they need Duncan there for shooting, because the team can't shoot. So you figured, okay, eventually they're just going to find openings to attack Robinson, get Mitchell onto him, and basically just let him dance. And it took until basically game 3 to start doing that. And then Mitchell, of course, had a monster game 3, had a crazy second half in game 4. And Duncan, you kind of have to keep him on the court because you need the shooting, but he can't guard anybody. So you're looking at what Cleveland's trying to do and what can hypothetically travel. I can see Harden and or Mitchell having solid games if Detroit cannot find a way to properly hide Duncan on defense. I think that could travel. Do you?
I think it can, but I think I expect here at home, this is where we see the other players come in and start playing better offensively, and we don't have to worry about Duncan Robinson getting headhunted defense because he's not on the court, because they're getting that level of play from like guys like Jenkins coming off of the bench, like anybody else that is just more athletic and can stay in front of somebody than Duncan Robinson. I'm on Pistons here. I'll lay the 4.5. I think they're going to go in here, play another good Pistons home game. Defensive intensity's ramped up. They start to slow things down. Mitchell doesn't go crazy nuclear again. And Cade Cunningham and company do enough. Nothing spectacular, nothing sexy. Kind of an ugly little Pistons win.
Yeah, so you said 4.5. I still see a couple 3.5s out there. So I'll just go with the 3.5. But yeah, I agree. I think at the end of the day, I was going to blindly take the home team in every game. That's why I took Detroit in 7, because I wasn't sure either team would win a road game. Detroit's only won one road game all postseason, and they trailed by 24 at halftime. And Orlando scored 19 points in the entire second half. So it's not like Detroit's been a great road team either this postseason. They've just done more than the Cavs by doing the bare minimum, which is winning a road game. But look, I'm going to go with Detroit until I see a road team actually win something. I was tempted, though, instead of going for the -3.5, because I can see Cleveland keeping this game close. Games 1 and 2 were very close until the last 2 minutes when Detroit went on a run and they kind of blew the game open, won by 10 both times. I don't mind Detroit 1-10 in this game, which I see around plus 198. Every game in the series, no matter who has won, has been by 10 points or fewer. So this prop is cash in every game. So based on that, I'm going to stick with what's worked so far. It worked for me in game 4. I got very lucky with it because, once again, the Cavs had no business winning by less than 15, but they won by 9. I'll run it back again. Give me the home team to win by less than 11 points. Detroit 1-10 plus 198.
Yeah, I like it. I like it, Scott. Total's at 212.5.
It's really tricky because the first 2 games went under and the last 2 games went over. But I think they can keep hunting Duncan, but I think Detroit's offense should look a lot better at home. So unless you want to make the argument that this game might determine the entire series and we'd just see an absolute rock fight in game 5.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, so you're going on.
The Cavs, because the Cavs do not want to play their luck with a game 7 on the road. I think the Cavs are more inclined to put forth their best effort to go and try to win this game, step up defensively, make this really, really close. And you see that rock fight. And, the pace slows down, the defense ramps up, and it's basically whoever has the ball last wins, kind of something similar to those metrics. And so I think it's going to be low scoring. I'll go under 212.5. Unders have been good in Detroit.
I think initially I wanted the over, but I do think it's going to be a physical game. I mean, games 1 and 2 in Detroit were low scoring. I mean, those 2 games did go under this number, and the 2 games in Cleveland kind of got going. I don't mind the under. I think the one pushback I'd have maybe is if we end up seeing less Duren minutes and more Reed minutes. I'm assuming you'd agree that would be better for the over because Duren right now can't do anything offensively.
Yep.
So I would argue more Paul Reed minutes could be on the horizon for Detroit here in game 5. But I think I agree. You can argue that Cleveland can once again explode offensively. I don't trust Harden to have solid performances on the road in the postseason. And even the games he had in Cleveland, he wasn't great for the entire game. He was great in crunch time of game 3. And once again, I feel like we can see Harden struggle on the road. We've seen it throughout his entire career. I'm not going to overreact to a couple of, once again, solid Harden games and tell you this is what we're getting for the rest of the series. So if Harden has a bad game and Mitchell is by himself dropping 30, they still might score around 100 points. But that's still a possibility too. Cleveland being so bad on the road, I think I have to agree with you. I'm going to go with the under. I think Cleveland could drag the under down by themselves or the total down by itself. So I'll go with you. A part of me wanted the over because I was expecting more minutes from Reed here. But I do think it'll be a physical game. Each game in Detroit did go under this number. So I'll agree with you. I'll go with the under.
All right. We will get to player props in just a moment. But first, got to make sure I talk to the people about Bronco Sportsbook and Casino. Make sure you go check them out. And they have a whole bunch of different ways for you to get in on the action because they got you covered for all the major sports offering. And they offer over 100,000 sports markets a month. Broncos available in a ton of states, and Wednesdays are for blackjack. Play blackjack on Wednesdays to get 50% of your losses back, depositing and withdrawing. Very easy. Also, remember, hey, if you're listening tonight and you haven't already, their MLB Super Boost are 35% profit boost specials on every MLB game. They got that for you right now. 35% profit boost special. Hey, if you're listening to this tomorrow, maybe you listen to this podcast in the morning or something like that on Wednesday, Hump Day Homers. Home run props are boosted by 15% over there on Bronco. Make sure you go check them out. Get a free $5 and purchase match up to $100 at Bronco using promo code SGPN. That's Bronco, BRACCO, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Kalshi. Real money prediction market, legal in a ton of states, and they have a whole bunch of different trading options for NBA, WNBA, MLB, NHL, all of that. So make sure you go check out Kalshi right now. New Kalshi customers get $10 when they use promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi, KALSHI, promo code SGPN. All right, Scott, player props.
You want to go first?
Sure. I wonder, like, I feel like we've missed the train on just hammering Duran's unders.
I have been hammering the unders, so
Congrats.
I've been on board. I'm sorry I didn't share with the class, but I have been taking Duran unders. I haven't been taking them every game, so I could have been doing a better job, but I did have the under PR last game, and that flew under. They dropped it, though. It was at 24.5. Now it's at like 21.5. But either he's not there mentally, or I don't know what's going on with Duran.
Hurt, maybe? Like, I don't know.
I don't know either, but if we think that there's a chance he gets benched, and the entire Pistons half comeback attempt there in the fourth quarter, which of course ended up failing, but it felt like the entire runs that happened in favor of Detroit through that game was when Reed was on the court instead of Duran. So I'm assuming we're going to see more Reed minutes. His energy is contagious. Like Duran, it's one thing if you're not going to get many rebounds or once again points, but you're still active and still contributing. I can't think of like a meaningful thing Duran's done this entire series besides in the first couple of games. I think it was game 1. Cade hit him with like a couple of like layoff dunks at the end of regulation in game 1. That's basically it. I can't think of like an actual impactful thing he's done in basically the last 3 games. So do we get less minutes from Duran? Probably. What do you have? 2 rebounds in the last game? You can go for his under rebounds instead of the points. I mean, I'll probably run it back. Why not? I mean, he wasn't even close to 21.5 last game.
I do like Dennis Schroeder, PRA.
Okay.
So we talked about the pace of this game being slower in Detroit, more defensive. They bring like Schroeder in those games to come in and be that change of pace, to come in with energy, get the pace going, speed the game up some, and get the Detroit defense playing on their heels a little bit. And so he's out there, he's running and gunning, and he's doing everything. He's grabbing loose balls and trying to push. He wants to get the rebound so he can push the ball forward, Scott. He wants to continue to go out, attack the rim. He looks for other players. Like, he's been over this in 3 of the 4 games of this series. Didn't get over it in the last game. I want to go back to it right here in a spot where they're going to need him to speed the game up when it gets to those ugly, ugly dead halt moments. So I like Schroeder to go over 10.5 as a nice little kind of zig when I'm already zagging on the low scoring game. But I think Schroeder's going to come in and spark the game up a little bit.
Yeah, so one prop that I did notice throughout the series, which has actually been working out, besides the Duran, of course, PR, it's the Strus rebounds. Strus rebounds are at 3.5 minus 126. He has been great on the boards. He's had 4+ rebounds in 8 of the last 9 games. He's had at least 4 rebounds in 9 of the last 10 against Detroit. He plays a lot of minutes. They still use Wade in the starting lineup for defensive purposes, but Wade hasn't really shot in the ball in the last 2 games at all. I think he's had 3 points in the last 2 games combined. Strus plays a lot because he'll full court press. He's an energy guy off the bench, and he's been good on the boards. So I don't mind the actual underrated rebounding numbers for him. I think Strus at 3.5 is pretty generous. I'll go for Strus over 3.5 rebounds minus 126.
I'm also gonna add Dennis Jenkins over 8.5 points. I'm on the role players today, Scott.
Well, you always say role players play better at home.
Yep, and guess what? Jenkins in his 2 home games here against Cleveland, 12 and 14 points in both of those games. You're expecting Duncan Robinson, who's dealing with some back problems that he's always been dealing with, aka I don't want to guard anybody, and it's a soft benching. Going to increase the minutes for Jenkins, and he goes out there and he can be a real spark at times, hit some big threes, or not afraid to drive to the brim. So yeah, I like Jenkins go over 8.5 points here.
Yeah, I'm looking at other props. I don't mind fading Harden on the road. I know that once again, he had a solid closing moment there in game 3 and in game 4. Of course, he had 11 assists. However, he also had 0 rebounds in the entire game 4. And his RA is set at 11.5. It's actually plus money. I see plus 101. He has had less than 12 RA in 3 straight. So it's not like he's been flying over regularly. He's had a less than, let me pull up the numbers here. He's had a less than 12 RA in 12 of his last 16, and less than 11 RA in 6 of his last 8 road games. So once again, Harden's road number is not exactly traveling. I think that with a guy who had 11 assists in a high-scoring Cleveland game, mainly because Mitchell went nuclear for 39.5, we're picking Cleveland's offense to slow down, so I see less opportunities. But the fact that he had 11 assists and 0 rebounds tells me that there are a couple of ways to get this. Because if the assists plummet and the rebounds are still not there, he's flying under. But I think 11.5 is pretty high. So I don't mind Harden going for the under 11.5 RA at plus 101.
All right. I was looking at turnovers, but those are at 4.5. A little high.
Yeah. You want Cade turnovers or not at home?
No, I think if I do commit to the turnovers, I would just play James Harden and just say, okay, he has the bad turnover game that Detroit forces here.
There's also a chance that Harden defers and Mitchell starts running all the offense and Harden just starts standing in the corner more often, which could happen too. So either way, I like the Harden under RA.
All right. Anything else?
Not really. I went through some props. On principle, do you want to fade Duran? We can save it for Underdog, actually.
I was just about to tell you, let's talk about Underdog right now. Make sure the folks get out there, use that promo code NBA SGPN, play $5, get $50 in bonus funds over there at Underdog Fantasy. You can build a nice little Underdog Fantasy entry real quick. I mean, I can play the Duran stuff. Like, I mean, he's been horrible. Like,
until he goes over, we could just keep running it back.
So we are fading Duran.
Yeah, I'm completely fine with that.
Okay.
Should be 21.5.
It is lower.
Okay.
I do like one of my role players, Jenkins or Schroeder.
Okay.
Not sure if you prefer one or the other.
Jenkins at home, I think I prefer.
Okay. Higher, 8.5 points.
Do you want to fade Harden? Or would you rather go with Strus at 3.5 rebounds? I know road Harden, I feel like, has been pretty good to us historically if you just fade him on some like potential no-show games.
And is Strus, what is Strus, higher?
Yeah, it was higher, 3.5 rebounds.
That's 0.8. How would we fade Harden if we fade him?
Well, I had the RA if you wanted to go
for
that.
Yeah. I do like your RA. I did like your RA split. All right, yeah, let's go with the lower on Harden RA.
Okay.
But what if he has a 10 assist game, Scott?
Then he had 11 assists last game and 0 rebounds, so he still got lower the number.
All right, we'll try it.
Which I think is pretty funny. He had 11 assists, he still went under this number.
Janice Jenkins higher, 8.5 points. Jalen Duran lower. Wow, we got 2 lowers. Jesus. Lower, 21.5 points and rebounds. And James Harden lower, 11.5 rebounds and assists. 6.22x, Scott. $100 get $622 over there at Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you use that promo code NBA SGPN. Also, Rhythm. By the way, Rhythm was cooking the first weekend of WNBA. 21-2 in the player prop smart signal market. Make sure you go check them out over there at Rhythm. Hey, also 7-day free trial. So you can get in there and you can tell the models that Rhythm has for NBA, WNBA, MLB, golf, or you can build your own models. So, hey, go use that promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off your first month. Download Rhythm, use that promo code SGPN25. All right. Lock dog prop.
You're going first.
For my lock, I will lay the 4.5 with Detroit. Ultimately, I really do think they just go ahead and win. Free throws get us there. Dog will be No, I don't want to do that because I don't want to mess up if Detroit just absolutely destroys them. So, dog, I'll go to an alt line. And I will take a stab at, let's say Jenkins has the big game.
What,
I
15?
just need 12. I
12,
just need
okay.
12. He had, what was it earlier in the season? Like 13 and 14 earlier in the series. It might even been more than that. It was 12 and 14. Do that again. If he does what he did at home, what he did earlier in the series, I cashed 214 on the dog. So Dennis Jenkins, 12 plus points. Prop. Yeah, I really do like that Schroeder play. Let's go with Schroeder. PRA over 10.5.
All right. What was the price on the 10.5?
Minus 113.
Okay. For my lock, I'm going to go with something we haven't mentioned yet on the show, but I still like it. I'm going to take Detroit early in this game. Give me Pistons first quarter, -1. They've been great in the first quarter so far in the series. They've actually won the first quarter by margin in 3 of the 4 games. Even game 4, they lost. They did win the first quarter. Both games at home, they were up comfortably after a quarter. I think with them getting embarrassed in back-to-back road games, I think the intensity is there from the jump. Give me Detroit early. I'll take Pistons -1 at -120 in the first quarter as my lock for the show. For my dog, Pistons 1-10 at +200. Every game in the series has been decided by less than 11 points. I'll run it back again. Pistons 1-10 at 2-1. For my prop, I'm going to go with Strus over 3.5 rebounds at -126. Once again, 4+ rebounds and 9 of his last 10 against Detroit. And he's at 4+ rebounds and 8 of his last 9 in general. So I like Strus rebounds, but I think Detroit jumps him early. And I think they find a way to win an ugly, low-scoring game like we saw in games 1 and 2. So give me the Pistons once again, 1-10 at 2-1 as my dog, but Strus I like for the rebounds as my prop.
All right. Anything else for the people before we get up out of here, Scott?
Not really. Once again, we only have 1 game for the rest of this round, back and forth days. So we'll see what happens, but Spurs are playing the Timberwolves right now. No matter what happens, there will be a game 6. So we'll be back once again for game 6 for that series. Then, of course, then game 6 of the Cavaliers series. But either way, yeah, been a fun playoff so far, and we got some WNBA action. So we'll see how our bets turn out.
All right. He's at Reichel Radio. I'm at reallyraw__. Make sure you give us a follow at SGPN NBA, YouTube.com/NBA Gambling Podcast, and give us a 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, it doesn't matter. With that, that's it. We have nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending the podcast. Just going to end it like this. We are